Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for iFive for the iPhone is provided by CacheFly at CacheFly.com.
This episode of iFive for the iPhone is brought to you by 99 Designs, the world's largest graphic design marketplace. 99 Designs connects businesses seeking quality, affordable designs with a community of over 225,000 graphic designers. Visit 99designs.com/i5 to receive a free Power Pack upgrade valued at $99. Welcome to a very special episode of iFive for the iPhone because it's episode 49, which, if you follow American football, is the best number in the world. Now, regardless of teams that get robbed at Super Bowls, I'm over it. This is the show where we pick the 5 best iPhone apps, news, tips, and tricks, and share them with you. I'm Sarah Lane, and you are? Number 1. Over the last weekend, I decided to take my health a little bit more seriously with my new FitBit One. Now, this little device is designed to be clipped to me day and night in order to track how many steps I take, how many calories I burn, how many miles I add up, how well I sleep, and it syncs to my iPhone via the Fitbit app wirelessly. That is the key here. The Fitbit itself has one single little button to cycle between all my statistics, but I can also check my app at any time throughout the day for more of an overall picture of how I'm doing. And I can also enter information in, like how much water I'm consuming, if I'm trying to drink a lot more water during the day, what I've eaten, if I'm trying to count calories, if I'm trying to lose weight, or maybe I'm trying to gain weight, whatever. I can set a goal for myself, and then I can track my progress. Now, yesterday, Sunday, I had a really big exercise day because I was trying to try this guy out. I climbed a bunch of stairs. I walked several miles. I wanted to see if the Fitbit was going to keep up, and it did. It actually seems really accurate. And since it's so small, I love this guy. You can clip it on your clothes. You can throw it in your pocket. I know all anybody does is talk about iWatches and wearable technology and things like that. But this is a lot more flexible than having to wear something on my wrist all the time. Although the Fitbit does come with an armband that you can also wear, not just for exercise, but while you sleep to track your movements. If you're restless, if you're waking up a lot during the night, or if you're sleeping nice and deeply. And you can even set it to vibrate to wake you up as an alarm if you don't want to disturb your bedfellow or bedfellows. The Fitbit One is sweat, rain, and splash proof, so says the company, but it's not truly waterproof. So if you're a swimmer or you're doing a lot of dancing in the shower, you can't take it with you. Now, it is small, full of features. That wireless sync is huge for me to the iPhone app, and by the way, also wirelessly syncs to the Fitbit software on my computer here via a little USB dongle. You can barely see it, but it's here. It's like the perfect device, right? Well, there is one catch. The iPhone app is free, but the Fitbit One itself is $100, $99.95 retail. You should really take your activity stats seriously before you plunk down the money. You want to put the time and effort into recording what you eat, drink, and how you sleep in order to achieve optimum health and a solid investment. Number 2, we got an email from Darren with an I, hello Darren, who writes in with a question. He says, when you double click the home button, it brings up the multitasking bar, which shows your most recently used apps. People are telling me that these apps are running apps, and if you go in and close them all, it will save battery. But I did a bunch of research and even did a test myself, and I can't find this to be true, so let me know. All right, Darren. This is an age-old debate. So for the most part, the whole multitasking thing is an illusion, at least in the current state of iOS. The majority of your recently opened apps that you can call up and swipe through are doing nothing at all, including draining your battery. You can almost think of these apps as just a history list of recently opened apps, but not all of them. Some apps are built to work in the background. For example, an app that calls on your GPS location regularly, that will affect your battery life because even if it's not pulled up on your phone, data is being pulled in and out all of the time, and you can't do that without affecting battery life. Highlight, that's an app that monitors where I am in order to let me know who's nearby, to serve up contacts to me, is one of those apps I do open and close regularly based on my battery needs. So, let's say that you hear all this and it sounds complicated and you say, I just want the best battery life at all times. I never want to think about which apps are draining my battery life. Well, you could just always close every single app that you're not using, but that's a huge hassle, a constant hassle. You're better off just keeping aware of which of your apps might be an issue and selectively closing them if necessary. Number 3. So last week, a few of the Apple blogs that I read regularly brought up the question of which iOS developers with current apps in the App Store might use the upcoming upgrade to iOS 7, that's going to look and feel a lot different, as an opportunity to rebuild their apps from the ground up in design and function. And of those developers, who out of them might also charge for the new version, even if you, the consumer, already bought the original app. Now you might say, if I already bought the app, no way am I buying it again. That's not how it works. But let's remember, app development isn't free. Somebody's working on this. Somebody's logging in a lot of hours somewhere. And we'll probably see at least some of your familiar apps, maybe even your favorite apps, get relaunched from scratch with a price tag. Now you might say, no one's going to do that. In fact, I have an example of this ahead of iOS 7. The team at Savvy Apps, who make Agenda Calendar, you might remember Agenda Calendar, we talked about it almost a year ago, back in episode 6. They just released Agenda Calendar version 4, which is a completely new app. It's $1.99 in the App Store, and if you already have Agenda installed and download this one, you'll actually have 2 versions of Agenda until you delete the original. Well, that's kind of confusing, but it's a great example of how an app relaunched from scratch has to work in the App Store. Even has a totally new icon. Now, I know we just talked about the calendar app Cal last week, and you might be really tired of this whole dates and events theme, but I think Agenda Calendar 4 is a must-have if you already use the earlier version of Agenda. If you don't, both Cal and Fantastical, I've talked about that in the past as well, are also very good options. I've recommended them here on iFive in the past. But Agenda Calendar has cleaned up its navigation in a nice way. Everything from settings, month views, specific dates and events, it's all gesture-based. You either swipe up and down or you swipe left and right to get anywhere you need to go. And Agenda now gives you the option to hook into a few other apps you might already be using, like Fantastical for event creation, or you can share what you create in Agenda to an app like OmniFocus or Drafts. Agenda Calendar 4 is a very, very good calendar app that just became great. This episode of iFive for the iPhone is brought to you by 99 Designs, who connect people looking for great graphic design with a community of more than 225,000 graphic designers from all over the world. Whether you need a new logo or a mobile app or a business card, a t-shirt, any kind of graphic design, you'll find the right designer for your project at 99 Designs. So here's how you do it. Tell 99 Designs what you need. What are you looking for? Then a bunch of designers from that community will submit designs created just for you. Then you give designers your feedback, you help them make their designs better, maybe refine things here and there. Then you select and you pay for your favorite. If you're developing an iPhone app, you can get anything from icons and buttons to your entire mobile app designed at 99 Designs. You can start your next graphic design project for as low as $199. Just visit 99 Designs, that's 99designs.com/iFive, and you'll get a $99 power pack of services for free. A power pack gives you more design time and attention. 99 Designs will bold and highlight and feature your design project in their marketplace, and you'll get nearly twice as many designs. If you're interested, and I hope you are, visit 99designs.com/iFive, and we thank 99 Designs for their support of iFive for the iPhone. Number 4. So right before the break, I mentioned how the new version of Agenda Calendar can send event notes to another app called Drafts. And then I realized, we have talked about this on Twit before, but not actually specifically on iFive yet. So today might as well be the day because it's a great app. You know how last week I showed you how the app IFTTT, or If This Then That, or IFT, can make apps and services sort of talk to each other, link them together? Well, you can think of Drafts as a little bit like that, but more of a launch pad for any note that you might want to make in any app that you have on your iPhone. Maybe not any app, but most apps. So here's how you do it. You open Drafts, and you immediately have a blank canvas to type in. So let's say you want to tweet, or you want to post something to Facebook, or you want to add a note to Evernote. What about sending a quick SMS or an email or adding a calendar event? With Drafts, every little thing you jot down is designed to happen here. Then you output it to all sorts of other services you use, either right away or whenever you feel like it. Best of all, you can customize your own actions in Drafts. So maybe you always want an email sent to a specific recipient in the background when you add a particular kind of note, or you want it backed up to Dropbox. Drafts has 4 different action panes you can customize to your heart's desire. Now, if you really want to use Drafts to its potential, the app is extremely powerful. And even if you don't, for $2.99, I still think it's worth it because you train yourself to start all your text here, no matter where you want to end up eventually, and then you end up bouncing around a lot less between apps. Finally, numero 5. Do you remember back in the days when VLC player was on iOS? Oh, those were the olden days indeed. You know, before 2011. I forgive you if you don't actually, because its reign as the universal video player and decoder really didn't last long in the App Store. Here's the backstory if you're interested. Some open source licensing weirdness got VLC, which is made by Videoland, has been around for years, to get pulled from the App Store just a couple months after it launched in the App Store. It made a lot of people very sad. Sadly, it took almost 2 years for the app to be accepted again, but it's got new updated licensing and has more features than ever. So VLC 2.0 supports all of the same files that its desktop version does. That's, you know, MPEG to Flash, RAW DV, WAV files, pretty much everything. And the new app has some extras too. So you can now AirPlay videos to another screen. You can run audio in the background when you're doing other stuff. You've got network streaming capability. You've got sharing support for Dropbox, the works. Best of all, it's open source for all you code fanatics. And even if you're not a code fanatic, I'm not really one either, but you've ever had some sort of video file, maybe somebody sends it to you on your iPhone that for whatever reason just won't play. Sound familiar? Makes you crazy, right? VLC is the free app that you want to have in your back pocket to open that file. Help me help you. And that's about it for this episode of iFive. Thanks for being here, and thanks for being you. If you know somebody who has an iPhone and might really like this show, regular app tips, iOS tricks, they're fun, right? Show them how to subscribe to iFive at twit.tv/iFive, or just search for us in your favorite podcast app. Of course, if you want to get a hold of us, you can email us at iFive@twit.tv or leave us a voicemail. The number is 614 on iFive, or send us a video with an app review of your own, and I'll think really hard about playing it next week. I'm Sarah Lane, and I'll see you next week on iFive for the iPhone.